16 Nigerian states, led by the Kogi State Government, have taken the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutionality of the laws that establish the agency. The states are contesting the EFCC's authority to investigate financial dealings within their territories. They argue that the EFCC's Establishment Act goes against the Constitution, claiming that when the EFCC Act was enacted in 2004, the provisions of Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution were not followed.
The Supreme Court has scheduled a hearing for October 22, 2024, with a 7-man panel of justices led by Justice Owani Abaji set to preside over the case. Now, this comes amid issues like lack of public trust in the EFCC, with recent allegations of bribery within the jurisdiction. This morning, we're joined by the head of media and publicity at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Dele Oyewale. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the program.
All right, you've heard the argument. The states are planning to take the EFCC to court. Before we get into, what the current challenges the EFCC has had to face in the past few weeks, or do I say months, let's talk about what the implication of this might mean. Going to court, and what's a ruling in favor of the states should that happen. What that would mean for the EFCC.
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't want to talk about that. When the matter is before the court, elementarily in law, we know that that is sub judice. We should not talk about it. But be that as it may, the overriding need for us to strengthen our nation against every form of economic and financial crime cannot be overemphasized. If we leave the pyrotechnics of the law, the technicality of the law, whatever argument anybody may want to canvass, the truth of the matter is corruption is real in Nigeria, and it has to be tackled. So let's allow the courts to decide. But you and I know that we need to move a step further. We need to do something. The narrative has to change. The paradigm has to shift. We must not continue the way we are. And that is what the Commission is doing. So whatever might be the argument of anyone or group of individuals concerning that, well, let the court decide. But it is obvious that as a nation, we need to fight corruption. It is a matter that cannot be debated. It is a matter that is beyond any controversy. So if 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, 50 people, 1 million people go to court and say that, no, the EFCC should not be allowed to function, we all know that that will not be in the overall interest of the nation. So let's allow the court to decide.
Well, I mean, the dissolving, if that happens, of the EFCC doesn't stop, the fight against corruption. The government still has, other security agencies and other bodies, that could also take up the fight against corruption. Or maybe we'll set up a new agency. So it's not like, Nigeria's fight against corruption is solely dependent on the existence of the EFCC in the first place. The case is being led by the Kogi State Government. So do you think it is because of the recent, case concerning former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello? Is that where you think that this is coming from?
Well, there is no need for us to make any conjecture or any speculation or any hypothetical consideration concerning where it is coming from. From whichever angle it may be coming from, the truth of the matter is that corruption is an issue in Nigeria, and it has to be tackled. And let me tell you, going by the track record of the EFCC, the pungency of our action, the credibility of our operations, the international acceptability of what we are doing, I think the Commission is in a better state to continue with what it is doing. So it doesn't matter what argument anybody is raising. So a few weeks back, I think just last month, I had cause to be in UK for an engagement. And when the immigration people at the airport, I think it was Gatwick Airport in London, when they were raising issues about my immigration issue, the moment I told them that I came from the EFCC, the narrative changed. Oh, you are from the EFCC. Oh, EFCC in Nigeria. Oh, you people are doing fantastically. You are working. That is from another land.
Okay, but that's from another...
That...
Okay, let's bring it back to Nigeria. I mean, you're getting raving reviews from the United Kingdom, but in Nigeria, it's a different kettle of fish. The reactions that we've seen from Nigerians and the statements that have been made about the EFCC has been one that is lacking of trust. Case in point is the Yahaya Bello case. Why did the EFCC not arrest Yahaya Bello when he submitted himself, when he submitted himself to the EFCC headquarters?
Very good. Ordinarily, when you look at a situation, if I were in your situation, I will also ask the same question now. You declare somebody wanted, he came to your premises, and you did not arrest him. Normally, ordinarily, anybody will, and it will raise some few concerns. But the truth of the matter is that at our own end, we have facts. We work on, the EFCC is intelligence-driven. We have at our fingertips facts why we should not take him into custody when he came. We may not rush to the public, maybe because of the need for us to score some public relations, a point or whatever, to say this is the intelligence we have. We are not going to talk about it. But the truth of the matter is that ordinarily everybody will behave the way the public expected. But there are issues that actually made it impossible for us to take him into custody. He knew and we knew. And so at the appropriate time...
Yeah, what issues? What we're asking is, what the question really is about clarity on the issues that made you not arrest him. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there are issues.
I may not be able, for now, I may not be able to come to the public with some of these facts. There are issues that border on intelligence. There are issues that border on the continuity of what we are doing. So that's what.
So what is then the use of him being declared wanted? Why then is he being declared wanted? If
logic.
Yeah. What then is the use of him being declared wanted if he can walk into your office and walk out? And then you say that there are reasons you can't arrest him. Why is he then wanted? And then of course if you remember later that day there were reports that the EFCC went to once again exchange gunfire. I believe I don't know what happened at the Kogi State Government house. So what then is the use of all of that if you say that there are reasons you can't arrest him?
Yeah, you see, now when he came to our premises, I just told you that ordinarily, using ordinary logic, you expect that somebody that had been declared wanted, he was your premises, you take him into custody. But we have reasons that are beyond what the public may have known, and I'm not going to talk about it. At the Kogi State incident, what happened at the governor's lodge, I was there. There is a lot of misinformation, a lot of misrepresentation about what happened. I was there.
Which is why we are...
nothing.
So what happened? What happened there?
Now, what happened there? When he came, it is true that we asked him to go back. And at the appropriate time, we will come for him. There was an agreement that he will come back. So, and we went, as a responsible law enforcement agency, to meet with him, to have discussions with him, and to bring him, in the way we wanted. And of course, the security details opened fire, raising issues. And because we didn't want anything that may cause a kind of breakdown of law and order, we had to ask our men, to retreat and to come back. It's not the EFCC that opened fire.
So
I'm sorry. I'm mostly just responding to what you said initially, that there are reasons you didn't arrest him when he came, or you asked him to go back. It just doesn't make sense that you asked him to go back, and then later that day you then go, and then his men open fire at you.
All right. Unfortunately, you said to us
Don't forget that I earlier told you that at the appropriate time we are going to bring to the public domain why he was not arrested on our premises.
Mr. Oyewale, we hope that that can happen very soon, because Nigerians want some clarity. We unfortunately are running out of time, but let's quickly ask you, Bobrisky, there have been allegations that Bobrisky
I remember that we issued a press statement.
We saw that.
A press statement very recently.
We saw that.
You saw it, fine. Now, the Yahaya Bello issue is not what is going to determine the effectiveness or lack of it for the EFCC. We have our track record.
Well,
So whatever happened to Yahaya Bello's issue is not enough.
I beg
it's
to
an
differ.
isolated issue.
Mr. Oyewale, I beg to differ because there is a perspective in Nigeria that justice is very selective, especially when it comes to people of influence, people who have power, money, and authority. And with this, if it's not handled the right way, to further the stereotype amongst Nigerians. I don't want us to go back and forth on this. I'm hoping that we can have you again, but as quickly as you can. There have been allegations that Bribery allegedly paid some money to the EFCC for them to drop the charges against him, to reduce certain charges, the money laundering charges. Can you please shed some light on that as quickly as possible?
Okay, yeah, I will quickly tell, I'll be very quick about it. There is nothing like selective judgment, selective justice, or whatever that you have just spoken about. We have, for God's sake, about 3 former governors have been arraigned, 4 former ministers have been arraigned. So if we have some technical intelligence issue with Yahaya Bello, should that be an issue? You can see it's in the public domain. Concerning the issue of Bribery, we were at the House of Representatives, and our lawyers came. Initially, money laundering charges truly, were included in the 6-count charge that were preferred against him. But when the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering said that his company, Bob Express, what actually accounted for the money laundering charges was the issue of his company, that he was not declaring returns to the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. But the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering came forward and said, no, this Bob Express something is not among the designated non-financial institutions and businesses, and that it needed not to render any return to it. So we dropped the charges. We dropped the charges even in the court, because we knew that we would not be able to press all those charges. So where is the need for what is all the insinuation about a bribery and whatever is frivolous.
All right, Mr. Oyewale, I think that what we need,
like that.
I think that what we need is another conversation for the EFCC to help shed some more clarity on some of these conversations, so that Nigerians can get a clearer picture. So please, can you give us your word? Can you give us your word, because we have to end the show now? Can you give us your word, and we'll reach out to you maybe in the coming week for another?
Definitely, anytime you want me now.
Okay, great. That works for us. Thank you very much, Dele Oyewale. We look forward to having more conversations with you.